What's up, guys? So, what? Okay. You pointed me after we started. I was like, what's going on? Anyway, we are back with another video. This one we've been trying to get up, but I think both of us have been busy, with Thanksgiving coming up and Survivor Series coming up, and everything is just crazy. So, we you could probably see from the title, so you obviously you know what's going down. But for those who maybe can't read or aren't able to see the title, well, I'll give you a little hint of what we're talking about right now, if it'll load. Well,
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
yeah, I don't want to do too much of it because I don't know copyright infringement and. But we have a big budget here on Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. The whole, my phone. Um, but we're talking about oh yeah, I got the shades. Shane O'Mac or Triple H, or as I like to call him, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That's right, kids of the Cena generation. Triple H does mean something. It does stand for something. Um, I wanted to do this video because, Shane McMahon wasn't a wrestler per se, but he did have a couple matches, a couple actually really good matches for not being an actual in-ring competitor, for basically being the owner's son. Um, and unfortunately, he did leave the company. Um, I don't know the exact true reason why he left. I've heard rumors, fighting with Vince, things like that. But I got thinking, since Shane McMahon did leave, it opened up the door for basically, we know who's going to be taking over the company now. It's going to be Triple H. But, before Triple H came into the picture marrying Stephanie, Shane McMahon was always being groomed to take over WWE when Vince eventually stepped down. And, I personally don't think it was fair that Triple H came in and automatically was given that title, or that chance, and that could have been part of why they started fighting Shane and Vince. I don't know. I wasn't in the backstage. I wasn't there. I just know from TV, being a fan of Shane McMahon. But we kind of wanted to get on here and talk about, how WWE is now with Vince still in control, how the WWE will be when DJ lost something apparently. Maybe it's the key to the Exotic Express. Did you lose it again?
Yeah, that's what I lost. Yeah.
But we're talking about that. Also, when Triple H finally takes over, what's it going to be like then? But then also, if Triple H never came in the picture, how do you think WWE would be if Shane took over? Because and there's Bo Dallas. Thank you for joining us, Bo. We all Bo leave. But I did, and I'm sorry, this is kind of a chaotic video. We didn't really write too many notes or anything. But first of all, what is DJ? What do you think of Shane McMahon versus Triple H? Do you favor which one over the other?
Um, I I don't know. I've always kind of liked Shane. I don't remember. I never really stopped watching wrestling, but there was a time when I didn't really get a chance to actually watch a single show like I kind of get to do now. Um, I don't even remember how Triple H got into that position. I just kind of one day he wasn't. The next day I just looked up and I was like, oh, because I know they had like the general manager thing um, before, so I can't. Can you clue me in on that? Because I can't remember off the top of my head
I
how he even came
I
in.
don't remember an exact point. I know for a while, when he was still competing in the ring, not to say that Triple H isn't competing, because he can randomly decide, oh, I'm gonna have another match at WrestleMania. But when he was more of a full-time competitor, exactly, exactly. I know he was starting to do, things in the back, things at the offices and stuff. And then he was appointed in an executive position. I don't know exactly when all that started, but um, I felt like you could see a difference just on from TV. When they started the storyline with, well, it was after the storyline with Triple H and Stephanie getting married on TV, because that's when they started, actually hanging out together, and they got married after that in real life. But even then, early 2000s, you could see the difference where, you were kind of seeing Shane a little bit less on TV, and you were seeing more, Triple H and Vince doing things. At least from what I remember. Again, it was a while ago. I don't remember one specific point where he changed from Triple H the wrestler to Triple H the executive WWE executive. But I don't know if that kind of that doesn't really answer your question, but
That's fine. Just just ask me again the question you had, like the initial question, so I can actually answer it.
yeah. What is your do you favor Triple H over Shane, or Shane over Triple H, either in a taking over the WWE aspect or just an entertainment aspect?
Yeah, I always was really fond of Shane just because I love the theme song was my thing, and I love the way he would come out to the ring with the little whatever dance he used to do when he came out to the ring. I used to love that too. Um, you know, I, I was telling Casey, one time because I started thinking about it. I was watching WrestleMania 2000 on the network, and I was like, if Shane came back, dude, I would just fanboy it out because it would be like so like for one, it'd be unexpected, which I don't think it would. It probably wouldn't be as unexpected as it would be like if he came back like right now. But it would be unexpected just because you'd be like Shane's coming back. What? Wait a minute. You know. But preferring one over the other, I've always liked Shane. Um, but I don't know as far as running the company if I prefer one over the other. Because I like the way Triple H is doing things somewhat. Um, I kind of like the whole best for business thing. It's not bad at all, but it would just be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what Triple H is gonna do, especially for right now that we don't know that Shane McMahon would come back anyway.
I mean, do you think it's fair for Triple H to be in the position he was, being that before he married Stephanie, Shane was being groomed to take over, and then it was kind of, in a way, taken out from underneath him. What are your thoughts on that?
As far as it being fair, I don't know. It's probably not. I would say no because I feel like if Shane felt like he was gonna get it, and then just because Triple H is kind of married into it, and maybe that's why he's not there anymore. I don't really know the whole details of why he's not there anymore, but maybe because he kind of felt like he was kind of getting looked over. He kind of left in that way. It's not really that fair, I wouldn't think, but because you would think that the owner's son would obviously be the one to take over, and they would continue the whole generational thing that has kind of just been since WWE has started. because it's practically been like a grandfathered in type of system, born into the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what bothers me is even this week's Raw, Triple H was talking about how WWE was in the McMahon's family, and it goes from generation to generation. And I was like, how can you say that when if you're talking about that, the next generation should have been Shane um, or Stephanie, but it shouldn't be a focus on Triple H because he's married into the McMahons, but he's not a McMahon. You know, um, I just thought that was kind of if I was Shane McMahon watching that, I would have been really offended, um, even though it wasn't straight to him. It's just it's not fair. Even though I guess he's had success after leaving the WWE. He was an executive of a company somewhere. I forgot exactly what it is, but if you want to go Google Shane McMahon, you'll get information on it. But I mean, so it wasn't like he left, WWE and was kind of put out on the street, but still, it's kind of unfair. But I don't want to get too much into like backstage politics. We all hate that. There's somebody that does it all the time. John Cena. Um, sorry, we're not talking about John Cena. I know I hate John Cena. I won't do that. But as far as Shane McMahon goes, if you go back and he didn't really have promos per se, but if you go back even on YouTube and you watch like backstage segments with him or even in-ring segments, he was really, I felt he was good on the mic. To an extent, I feel like he's better than Triple H on the mic. He almost had kind of a swagger to him, you know what I mean? I just loved watching him. He felt like he could really like get somebody pumped for a match or a pay-per-view, whereas Triple H, he can get you pumped, but he's kind of more towards the boring side, I think. What do you think in that aspect? Mic skills, because Shane McMahon was good on the mic, I thought.
Yeah, as far as mic skills go, I think I do like Shane McMahon on the mic, definitely. He was entertaining, and everything like that. I think even the WCW thing when they made that little type of like parody, like we're taking over or whatever. Even that was kind of funny or whatever. Um, I think I don't pay attention to mic skills as much as I probably should. Probably because I just recently started watching wrestling and the way I'm watching it now. The way I'm watching it now is a lot different than how I watched it probably a year ago. I really go, dive into that type of stuff and pay attention to that detail and stuff like that. Um, it, you know, Triple H is good on the mic. I do think Triple H is good on the mic, obviously, but Shane McMahon, I think maybe is more entertaining. I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And there's uh, two matches that I kind of wanted to um, put focus on in this. One was Shane McMahon's match against Steve Blackman. I believe it was SummerSlam 2000. Um, I mean, if you go on the network, it's actually free this month, but normally it's $9.99. Uh, go
Really
watch
didn't know that.
go watch SummerSlam 2000. That match was, if nothing else, for one spot in that match where they're climbing up the scaffolding on the stage, and Steve Blackman has a kendo stick and goes hitting Shane McMahon. and Shane McMahon did one of the best just free falls I've ever seen. Like it was amazing,
Yeah,
and
you can on the Monday Night War stuff. If you watch that, they show it a ton on there. I know.
that just the height that he had and the fact that he literally just did a free fall was amazing. You know, most actual guys on the roster wouldn't do something like that. You know, and this is the boss's son. You know, I just thought that was amazing. I love that match. Not to mention, I also liked guys like Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock, guys that today are kind of overlooked. I don't think the and I always seem to call it the Cena generation. But if you ask kids like 13, 14 now, if they've heard of Steve Blackman, 90% of them are not gonna know who you're talking about, which is sad. Um, and other guys like that. I'm just using Steve Blackman as a um, example. Guys like him, guys like uh, even like Chavo Guerrero, Billy Kidman. Um, most fans that age don't even know that Joey Mercury and what's his name there, other dude. Um, actually, yeah, I don't know why I can never remember his name. Um, most of them don't even know that they used to be actual like in-ring competitors, which is sad because they were pretty entertaining when they were superstars. But anyway, another match I wanted to kind of put out was WrestleMania 17. It was Vince versus Shane McMahon. One of the best coast to coast drop kicks with the trash can ever. That was that that looked so painful, and the fact that he got that distance was awesome. I mean, I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm watching those two matches, and they're just awesome. Um, what did you think? If you remember those two matches, what did you think of those or the moves in general? Because you've seen both of those, the moves anyway, those
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah. Yeah, the Steve Blackman thing. I don't remember the match in general. I know I watched the match because I do remember watching it, when I was a kid or whatever. But I don't remember exactly everything in the match. But that that was a memorable spot. And plus, I've seen it recently when I was watching the Monday Night War, that little documentary type of thing they're doing on the WWE Network. Um, as far as the coast to coast, I just think Shane was probably like the best at the coast to coast ever. He may have been. Was he the only one to do it? Was he the only one to actually?
He's the
I
only
mean,
one I remember doing it.
because I think there were maybe some people that like tried it when they were facing him or whatever, but I think he
Yeah.
might have been the only one to actually do it.
I remember him doing it on Vince. I think he did it on Kurt Angle. But he's the only one I remember actually doing it.
Yeah, I love the coast to coast. That was one of my favorite moves he used to do. Um,
Yeah.
I will have to go back and watch those matches though.
Yeah. Um, and another move that we've seen other superstars do it, but nobody does it quite like Shane McMahon did it. Was the top rope elbow drop to the announce table? Just the the distance he would get and the air that he would get was awesome. I know he did it on one time he did it on Test, and then he did it on Bobby Lashley also in another match. Those were just, I, you know, I don't know what he did different. I'm trying to think. Was it body control? Was it something? It just looked so much cooler when he did it, to me at least. Um, uh, I don't know if you saw either. I'm sure you've seen clips of it too. But what did you think of that? If you saw? either one of those.
Yeah, I do remember his elbow drop. I just remember it just because of how like impactful it was and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. He did have um, one of the best elbow drops. I don't remember I probably should remember and maybe the one I actually do remember is the Bobby Lashley one because that was probably more recent
Yeah,
than the other one. So yeah, yeah, Shane McMahon, he's pretty good at that elbow drop. I have to say that.
yeah. Um, I mean, and again, we're not gonna make this video too long, but um, I know I'm one, and there's a bunch of people who kind of. It's kind of like CM Punk, where we hope they come back, but I feel like in our hearts we're kind of we know it's probably not gonna happen, just because issues with the company and just things that we aren't privileged to see personally, in the backstage, in the offices, in corporate, whatever. Unfortunately, those things are kind of keeping these returns that we want to happen. Um, because I think, if Shane McMahon came back, not to say that Triple H won't do a good job when he takes over, because he did, NXT was his baby, and me and DJ personally love NXT. Um, for WWE, it's a refreshing thing to actually see a show, even though it's just an hour, to see a full wrestling show with good wrestling. And they do have promos and stuff, but they don't drag them out like Raw or SmackDown. Um, but I would also like to see, what would Shane McMahon do if he, if something happened and Triple H decided not to take over, and then, Shane McMahon came in and took over. What would he do different? Would he keep NXT? Would he push younger superstars? Would he do something different with the network? Um, you know, kind of things that I'm wondering, and I'm sure other people are wondering, but I don't think will ever happen. Um, you know, and these are kind of more of my closing thoughts. Do you have any other, thoughts on what you think would happen if he came back? What you would want to happen?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Because you know he was in such a different era of wrestling. It feels like now, as compared to what we have now, and like it would be definitely interesting to see what would happen. But it's kind of similar to Triple H too, where Triple H was kind of in that same era too. And I think Triple H has kind of even been in both of them, in different aspects. Obviously, being a competitor and being the owner, with the whole history kind of repeating itself at this point with the whole PG thing. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see what would happen. It's kind of one of those what if type of things at this point right now because you don't really know, and you know I think it's even especially for Shane, it's a little bit even hard to predict what he would try to change.
Yeah, and I think that's for anybody. Um, I think WWE is kind of in this spot where who even if somebody else came in to take over, it's kind of, what do you do now? You know, um, you have this guy that, refuses to leave. Nobody likes him anymore. He, in his head, thinks everyone still loves him, and, Vince is like the only person who still loves him. Um, and, if you think about it, it's if somebody came in and took over, like if say uh, Vince officially stepped down, after Survivor Series. It wouldn't be as easy as just, okay, let's get rid of John Cena and everything's going to be okay. It's not going to be that easy. It's just it's that simple. There's a
Plus,
lot.
that's not gonna. They're not gonna get rid of. I mean, as much as people hate him, love him, whatever people do. As funny as it is to think about it, there are people that actually, do, that on the opposite end of, what seems to be the majority now. So, they're not gonna just drop him immediately. I don't know if they would even push him out of the door. I think they would still keep him even if, Vince did step down. I don't know. The John Cena situation is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, and I feel like they're kind of WWE is kind of a lot of the guys who have been there for a long time, like Triple H, even going with Vince McMahon being the owner, whatever. You know, they always say make fun of fans who don't understand that it's a show and think it's real and everything, but with regards to John Cena, that's who they are kind of selling him to, are the people who think it's real, who think this John Cena character really is John Cena, and they think oh, everything in the show is real. That's who they're really kind of selling John Cena to, and this stupid crap that they try to feed us, and it's unfair. The way I see it is educate these people, let them know, yes, it's a show, it's not real, these are characters. Every single person that steps into that ring is a character, from the WWE champion even down to referees. People don't realize, some people don't realize it, but even referees are in on everything that happens. Except for the Undertaker match at WrestleMania, because freaking nobody knew what's going on, and it's a fluke, and no. But if you were to kind of educate people more, they would realize that John Cena is just a T-shirt salesman, basically. That is legitimately what he is. He is a T-shirt salesman for the WWE. And you notice it's all the little kids who, and I'm not gonna make fun of little kids, because they're there to have fun. They're, to them, it is real. And that's cool. That's fine with me. But even if you're going to have him on the show, yeah, go ahead, have John Cena on Raw, but have him in a short segment, the beginning of the show. Don't, bring him out when the show opens, and then bring him out again mid-show, and then bring him out again for the main event, and then have him be in the main event at the pay-per-view, and then next day on Raw, have him again come out. It's too much I think for anybody. Even, before John Cena came in, even if they did that with The Rock or Triple H or Stone Cold Steve Austin, we would have gotten sick of them. They didn't shove them down our throats, and that's why guys from me and DJ's generation gravitate to guys like Triple H, guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, guys like The Rock, and guys like Mankind, because they pushed them, but they didn't shove them down our throats. We're kind of rambling now, but any last closing thoughts before we on anything that I have been talking about or rambling about?
No, I just think I think that the John Cena thing is definitely a topic we should we should talk about. Maybe even get even more people, especially like you know, because I think it would be important for people to be on the other side too and kind of see what they think about that whole thing too. I'd be interested in doing a video on that. Definitely.
Yeah. Um, Also, anybody who's watching this, if you know anybody who is either an independent wrestler, works in the independents, whether they're a referee or a ring announcer, anything, that would want to come in and talk about anything that we've talked about, from a aspect of somebody who actually works uh, in the business. We would, I believe, I think DJ agrees with me. We would love that, because I think on YouTube we get a lot of people who are fans and think we know everything, and honestly we don't. I don't know everything. I know DJ doesn't know everything. Um, it would be cool to have somebody who does compete in the ring or does work um, in a promotion somewhere to give their 2 cents on what they think of John Cena, what they think of the WWE, what they think of TNA, anything like that. Um, just to see if they agree with us, if what they think should be done with either company or anything really. That that's what I would say to you, our loyal fans of the show, or if anyone else wants to come on. If you're bored and you want to come on and talk about wrestling with us, we will we'll include you. You know, we're not one of those shows that doesn't include people. You know, we're like Oprah. I don't know how that works, but it does. We give out free cars. We actually don't take that to heart. We shit. I don't have a car.
He gives out free cards.
I, um I well, when I get one that's not mine, I'll give it to you. Um, but you know, if you have anything you'd like us to talk about, questions, comments, concerns, if you're an attractive girl and you want to ask either of us out on a date, you know, feel free. Hit us up on the Twitter. It's down there. Send us some tweets, DMs. Again, not BMs because I'm not really into BMs. You know, and I'm gonna throw it over to DJ because that got weird real quick.
All right, all right. Still don't know what a BM is. Still trying, still trying to figure that one out.
It's a
Maybe
food.
the beast mode because just see, see. That means follow me on Twitter. That's what that means. Follow me on Twitter if you like, or if you love, whatever you want to. You can follow me on Twitter. There's definitely more stuff coming. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I mean, just this week we got NXT review coming up soon. We got TNA review coming up soon. And actually an XFL video coming up soon. Maybe even later tonight. I don't know yet. Not really sure. But it will happen soon. Alright. First off, actually it's not first off because I've been talking for a while. But last off, feel free to follow me on Twitter once again. Feel free to share this video, however you want to do it. I don't care. It don't matter. Share it as long as somebody sees it and they like, oh yeah, I like this. I'm good. I'm good with that. But I'll catch you guys later. Catch you guys later. Peace.